Welcome to the Z Zone, where random facts rule everything from mind-blowing history to science, tech, pop culture, and the stuff you never knew you needed to know. If it's strange, surprising, or straight up unbelievable, it lives right here. Fast facts, big surprises. This is Z Zone, where curiosity never clocks out. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Z Zone. Everything according to Z. Who is Z? That's me. As if you didn't know already, we're 12 episodes into this, so you should know who I am by now. So, housekeeping rules: like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can keep a track of all this deep knowledge that I'm giving you that you may not want to know, but somebody's got to give it to you. So why not let that person be me? So again, please like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. And thank you for all the views. Thank you for all the comments. I love all y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. But guess what? Let's dive into this tonight. Let's dive into tonight's episode. Or today's, wherever you're watching tonight, today, it doesn't matter. But we're going to dive right in and get into these absurd facts and laws and rules and what else you want to call it, nuggets of wisdom. So, let's dive into this one. Volcanoes. We love to watch them sometimes. I don't know if you do. I don't want to watch a volcano from a safe distance. But did you know that there's a volcano that continuously produces blue lava? But whenever we see it on TV or on the videos, it's always an orangey red lava. Well, this Pacific lava and this volcano is actually blue because it's burning sulfur gas. So the sulfur gas gives it that blue color to the lava. I will have to find out where that volcano is and probably put a picture on here for y'all and tell you where it's at. So if you want to go see it, you can definitely go see it, but stay at a safe distance. It'd probably be cool to see blue lava. Okay. Now, this one right here was interesting because it reminded me of a very particular food that a lot of people like to eat, but don't want it made in their house. This one is called the rotten sauce. Yeah, some people just find that eating rotten sauce is a good way to go. Not me per se, but let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. The rotten sauce. One of the most popular condiments in the ancient Mediterranean was guarma. Guam. Yeah, a funny name for a funny sauce, but let me tell you why this sauce was so smelly and so forbidden. This sauce was made from letting fish guts rot and ferment in the sun for months. So not only are you making this sauce, I want to know what kind of food you putting it on because it's fish. It's fish guts. You let it rot in the sun for months. Then the sauce was so bad that it was forbidden, legally forbidden to be made inside the city limits. I mean, it reminds you of chitlins, don't it? Chitlins smell so bad that you have to cook them outside. If you cook them inside the house, your house gonna be stinking for days. Damn chitlins and damn guarma sauce from the Mediterranean. I don't understand that, but hey, you like it, I love it. Not really. So, our next interesting tidbit tonight is pineapples and their status as a symbol. Now, recently we talked about crabs and their symbol and how it was so many of them that they gave them to the prisoners, but now it's a delicacy. A lobster is so delicate. It's so delicate. Oh, you can't. It's so rare. But hey, the pineapple has a status symbol too. Let me tell you about that. In the 1700s, a single pineapple could cost. You ready for this? In the 1700s, one pineapple could cost the equivalent of $8,000 today. They were so rare and expensive that people would actually rent them for parties just to display as a centerpiece. So I'm not paying 8 grand for a pineapple, but you gotta rent it for a party as a centerpiece. You can't even eat it. But hey, every fruit has its day. The pineapple was one of them. Can you imagine paying 8 grand for a pineapple though? Nah, that's some status quo right there. Okay, this one, this one's a little bit funny. You talking about ways to win a race? Well, did you know that a dead man actually won a race? How does a dead man win a race? Well, he had some help. Well, what kind of help did he have to win a race if he's dead? Well, let me tell you about this guy. 1923. Picture this. Get to Belmont Park for the Derby, as was our jockey, Frank Hayes. Well, he started the race very much alive with his horse, Sweet Kiss. But throughout the race, this man had a heart attack and died. But the horse didn't know. So the horse kept running. And guess what? He actually won the race. Frank Hayes is the first person to win a race professionally postmortem. So he died in the middle of the race. Hey, a win's a win, I guess. RP to Frank Hayes. Okay. So we like to do historical facts here too. This one's a little bit, how should we say it? Well, let me tell you about this fact. It's called the 335-year war with no casualties. So was it really a war? Does a war have to have casualties to be considered a war? Or was this just a very long, drawn out conflict? Well, let me tell you what happened. The Netherlands and the Isles of Sicily, they were at war for 335 years. That ranges from 1651. Again, 1651 to 1986. 335 years. The Netherlands and the Isles of Sicily were technically at war. Why was they at war for that long? Well, diplomatically, oversight, both sides forgot to sign a peace treaty. So technically, the war was already over. They didn't sign a peace treaty. So the war never really ended. So since they forgot they was at war, not a single shot was ever fired, making it the longest and most peaceful war in human history. So 1651 to 1986, Netherlands and Sicily were at war. Only because they forgot to sign the peace treaty. Hey, that's one long war. But guess what? 0 casualties. Hey, go figure. That's a great one. Okay, let's go to the stars. Let's go visit our friends in the stratosphere. Tycho Brahe, golden nose. So when you was a little kid, your mother or somebody would ask you, "Are you digging for treasure?" when they see you picking in your nose. Well, Tycho Brahe had a golden nose. So I wondered, did they coin the phrase from his nose? Let me tell you about his nose. The famous 16th century astronomer Tycho Brahe lost the bridge of his nose in a sword duel with a cousin over who was a better mathematician. So now let's back up a little bit. You had a war with zero casualties for 335 years because they forgot to sign a peace treaty. Now you got Tycho Brahe and a cousin fighting over who's the better mathematician. And in this fight with swords, Tycho Brahe lost the bridge of his nose. So what does he do? He goes get a nose made. Well, this nose was made of gold, silver, and copper. So yeah, he literally was digging in his nose for treasure. I mean, it kind of says it right there. Your nose is made of silver, gold, and copper. So it gives a whole new meaning to, are you digging for treasure in your nose? You know how it is. Come on. You're digging for treasure. Your nose. He probably found so much gold and silver there. I don't know. I mean, that's just funny. It's weird. It's weird. But hey, guess what? Let's keep going. Let me let's go to some really weird laws that was made. Well, first, before we do that, let me tell you about the unsinkable cat. Yes, a cat had 9 lives, but this one it's a little interesting. We're gonna get into this one. The cat named Unsinkable Sam. This man survived 3 separate ships during World War II. So not only was this cat in the Navy, but he was on 3 different ships that went down, but he survived. The first, the German battleship Bismarck. Then he was on the HMS Cossack, and then he was on the HMS Ark Royal. But notice, he never got on the HMS Titanic. I know, bad joke, but hey, HMS Cossack, HMS Ark Royal, HMS Titanic. But hey, so after the 3rd ship went down, the Navy said, "Okay, that's enough. Sam, you're retired. You done your thing. Go live. Go by. We're done." So they retired him to a shoreside home in Belfast. That's your Unsinkable Sam. 3 ships during the World War, and it's okay. You survived. You're good. So he retired. He lived in Belfast the rest of his life. Okay. Now, here we go. This one is a little bit weird. This one is really off the cuff, but vodka. Yes, the drink people love to drink. Not, I don't know if it's Tito's or, well, it's the Soviet Russian, so it probably wasn't Tito's. This is just, let's read about vodka. This is a rule. This is how they did things in vodka in Russia. During the economical collapse in the Soviet Russia, bottles of vodka often replaced the nearly worthless ruble for labor and services. So, back in the time when the Soviet Union was going through an economic collapse, people wasn't getting paid in the rubles. They got paid by vodka. So, hey, that was a rule. That was a law. Pay them by vodka. Okay. Last few. Here's the last couple. Did you know this? It's illegal to bathe a donkey in a bathtub. Why are we worried about bathing donkeys in a bathtub? Well, let's discuss this. In Brooklyn, New York, they made it illegal to bathe a donkey in a bathtub because the donkey fell asleep in a bathtub in 1924, which caused the whole entire apartment building to flood. Yeah, this donkey in a tub fell asleep, and water was, I don't know why the water was still running, but it flooded, and the donkey got carried away in the tub. So they said no more bathing, no more bathing your donkeys in the bathtub. It's illegal. So there you have it. Don't bathe your donkey in the bathtub. If you got to bathe a donkey, bathe it outside. I'm sorry. It's not my rule. It's just the rule of law. Okay, last one. Let me give you a good one. Let me pull some. Let me see what I got for you. Let me see what I got for you. Okay, the price of purple. Yes, purple is a color of royalty. We all know this. We all accept that. That's how it is. Purple means royalty. Well, in ancient Rome, wearing purple was life or death. Gamble. How is it a gamble? How could you wear purple and be a life or death gamble? Well, if you don't know your colors that well and you put the wrong shade of purple on, you could be put to death. Well, what color purple is that? Well, it's called the Tyranian purple. And if it was so much, the purple was so royal that they gave Tyranian purple the color of royalty, which means only the rulers could wear it. And if you wore Tyranian purple, you could be put to death. So you have to be very careful about the purple you wore, or else you could, again, life or death gamble. I mean, hey, but what if you're colorblind? What happens then? I don't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're colorblind. You don't know. You should. You might not. You might not even have purple on. You don't know what you got on. So who? That's just the way a cookie crumbles sometimes. Okay, the last law for the evening. Then I'm let you go. You've been here long enough with me. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for enjoying. Thank you for watching. So the last one, it's called. Let's call it the cake sharing law in Monaco. Yes, Monaco has a law about cake sharing. Well, if you got married in Monaco, the law states you must share your wedding cake with the community. Why would you share your cake with the community, not just people at the party? Well, they believe that the cake has certain ingredients in there that was so royal and so majestic that only high society could have these ingredients in their cake. So, in order for the community to take part and enjoy the spices and the flavors of this royal cake, they made it that they had to share their cake with the community. Now, I do wonder if that is why we share cake at the weddings now. That's the thing. Cut the cake, share with everybody. So I wanted that today's cake sharing come from the cake sharing law in Monaco. Think about it. Get back to me. Let me know what you think. But thank you again. Enjoy your day. Take care and see you next week for another episode of Everything According to Z.